Hello, 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 YouTube! My name is rhianaB, and welcome back to another episode of my RuPaul Drag Race review. So, the aftermath of the last lip sync, where, actually I need to look in my notes again, who went home last week? Mayhem went home last week, okay. Monet tore her dress during the lip sync, which is honestly a good thing, because that jumpsuit was not cute, so honestly, good riddance to that jumpsuit. And then Cracker but she wants to have like a winning streak because she still doesn't want to challenge yet, which is really bizarre because I think her, out of most of the girls, has had the highest amount of expectation, well, one of the highest amounts of expectation because she is a funny New York girl, Bob's daughter. But it is surprising that she hasn't won any challenges yet, so she's motivated to start winning as well. And the mini challenge, a little perplexing, to be completely honest. It's called Sitting on a Secret. Basically, kind of like a guess what you're sitting on type of a thing, which, like, they sat on traffic cones, they sat on a fax machine, and plus I didn't think they made, like, modern day fax machines anymore. If that shows my millennialism, then so be it. Anyway, Asia wins. And then moving on to the Maxi Challenge, we have the Make Your Own Drag Con panel. So, like we saw from last review, we saw that Ru was going to let the girls pick their own teams. And from that, we got Cameron, Monet, and Eureka, who were kind of like the leftovers. We have Blair, Vixen, and Cracker. And then we have Asia, Monique, and Aquaria. And Vixen, Monet, and Eureka were going to do a body panel talking about how you shape your body. Blair, Vixen, and Cracker's group were going to be wigs, so just talking about wigs, how you put them on, style, all those things. And then Asia, Monique, and Aquaria were going to do face and makeup. So obviously, since Eureka was on season 9, she's been to DragCon at least once. I believe it's only been once. But she's been to DragCon, so she knows the experience of being on that stage and talking to an audience and that type of a thing. Plus her personality, I think it fits really well with live presentation. You know, she's very friendly and forward. I just think she's a really personality-based queen, if that makes any sense. So she has a bit of an upper hand because she has that experience. And then we had Aquaria on the makeup team. She does have a lot of experience with like Instagram fame, which usually relies on just face and makeup. So I think that would appeal to her strengths. It's just a matter of, can her personality shine through? Because I think she's kind of one of those queens that doubts her own personality at times. So we'll have to see about that. And going back to Team Body really quick, the whole proportionizing type of thing. I thought that was hilarious. So clever, and if they played that up, that would be like the catchphrase of the panel. But obviously the team lived for it, but then the other queens didn't really live. So kind of take with what you can get. Well, that doesn't even make any sense. You guys know what I mean. On Team Hair, we had Blair, since she is like in a theater production company, if I'm correct, or she's worked in theater, she knows how to work with hair, she knows how to work with wigs and stuff like that. So that's like an experience there. She has some good advice. Going back to Team Makeup, I know I'm going back and forth a lot here, guys, and I apologize for that. Monique and Asia are kind of concerned about Aquaria, basically with what I said earlier, the fact being that she isn't as front forward with her personality as Asia and Monique tend to be. So that's kind of something that's kind of up there. And then we also, I feel like Monique is this season's Chi Chi DeVayne when Chi Chi was on season 8. She is someone who's very crafty. She tends to make her outfits very, very quickly. I will say though, I think Monique kind of relies on that making her own outfits thing a lot. I even think more than Chi Chi did. I know Chi Chi made a lot of her own outfits. I just feel like I haven't seen anything from Monique that's like not been made by her, which isn't a bad thing, but I would figure she would have like bought some stuff to bring to the competition. So that's something that kind of, it bothers me, but yet it doesn't bother me because I love Monique, but it's one of those things that's just like, I'm not too sure if that's something that can, like, it can't get you much further in the competition if you're just going to make all your own clothes. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to say on that. Before we get into the challenge, we also have a twist that the audience will rate the panels and the queens, and they will have a fan favorite queen as well as their favorite panel. So that will go toward the judging. Also, before Runway, we've got a couple of mirror moments. We had Cameron talking about her relationships and how she became like such a bodybuilder. She was in a relationship with someone who wanted her to be very buff and very masculine, but when they broke up, oh yeah, and then she gave up drag to be with this guy, and then when they broke up, you know, she has this whole brand new body, and like she wants to do drag again, but she has to adjust her drag based on what she's done to her body. And that was a struggle, but honestly, I love that. I love the fact that she didn't give up on her drag, that she was able to go back to it and just totally embrace her body, who she was, and just owned it. And now looking at her on the show, she's come up with amazing looks. I love her makeup. She knows how to do her body. I just loved that story. And then we had Monet talking about her family and her drag, and that I forgot where she grew up, but she grew up and moved away from her family, and then when Monet started doing pageant stuff, she was getting noticed in the papers for pageants, and then her family finds out, and Monet, she lied, saying that it's just kind of like a dress-up thing. It's not like it's not reflecting on her sexuality, which Monet is gay. But it was just kind of interesting how, and I want to know if she's come forward to her family yet about that. I really want to know, because I think doing this show, it'll kind of reflect on who you are. I mean, it's happened with other families before. So I think it'll be interesting to see maybe in the reunion, like what's come out of this, or to just have her reflect on this in the future. Okay, so moving on to the actual panels. Okay, so Team Body was first. By far, that was the best panel of the entire group. It was the best. I was actually, granted, Cameron could have been a little bit more funnier and a little bit louder, but I think she still held her own. In my personal opinion, Monet was the best. Eureka was fantastic as well, but I thought Monet, given that she had been in such a bad place, in the past 2 weeks, she did so well. She was being herself, and she was being funny. So I loved it. That was definitely the best panel group. Team Face was next. Very open and very friendly. Monique definitely moderated very well. I feel like she knew how to talk to a room and use her personality to uplift everybody. Bryce, and I will say, Bryce, who was kind of like the model type of a figure, which at DragCon, I've seen a couple of DragCon panels on YouTube, they tend to do that with stuff like this. Bryce was just sitting there. I mean, Monique went over and did a little highlight on the cheek, but other than that, he was just sitting there, and I felt like the poor guy is just sitting there when the girls could have like easily just done his whole face rather than doing it on themselves. And also, I felt like there was a lot of stuff happening, especially with Asia trying to do her lashes, and then Aquaria trying to do like a sparkle lip, and they were alternating back and forth. It made it very confusing to go to Asia 1 minute and then go to Aquaria and then back to Asia, back to Aquaria, da-da-da-da-da. Especially at one point when Asia was using a blow dryer to like glue down her brow, or not her brows, her lashes. It wasn't I don't know. It was better than the next group we're about to talk about, but it definitely had its moments of like, yeah, not too good. And then finally we have Team Hair. I have to say, Blair's wig, I mean, granted, I have red hair, but I want that wig, or I want my hair styled like that. That wig was fantastic. I loved it. But then there's the question of, why is everyone so shady? Why did they want to do, like, the shady queen type of a thing? Because me even seeing panels at DragCon online, I don't recall seeing any other ones that were, like, super shady. And this is the point where, like, they needed a moderator, and I'm shocked that no one took that mantle to take control of the situation. I think Cracker, if she had done it, she would have probably led that team a lot better. But the fact that they were just freelance to do whatever they wanted and say whatever they wanted, and it turned out being so shady, and poor Blair was just stuck in the middle, kind of just, like, reacting and not really throwing things back, which did bother me a little bit. So by far, Team Hair was the worst of the night. And it's sad to say, because we all know how I don't like Vixen, but I loved Cracker and Blair, so it's sad that some of my favorites were gonna be in the bottom tonight. Okay, so moving on to the runway, which was Hats Incredible. And I know my hat's not extravagant or anything, but it's one of the only few hats that I think is big enough for that kind of thing, so I'm going with it. Anyway, let's move on. First up is Cameron Michaels. This I really, really liked. I like the space age theme. I like the moving hat. Like, bitch. That hat was moving and I lived. I will admit that the outfit itself was, I mean, it's okay, but the face plus the hat, it worked. So high runway for Miss Cameron Michaels. Next is Miss Monet Exchange, and I gave this, I don't know, I feel like it's a little too simplistic. The pattern isn't simplistic. I think that's actually what gives it its punch, but it's literally just a skirt and a blazer. Speaking of me wearing a freaking blazer right now, but it's like, I don't know, it's not wowing me in the way that I wanted to wow me. Maybe she could have added some more details to the actual outfit itself. I did like the hat, but again, it wasn't wow-worthy enough for me, so I will give it middle of the road, because it just didn't give me that extra oomph that I wanted. Next is Miss Eureka O'Hara, and this was great. This was fantastic. I love Houndstooth. It's one of my favorite designs. I love the look. The cape, the hat, it worked. The only thing is that I don't know if I like the boots. The boots, I feel like they cut her leg off and make her look a little like, I don't know, if she would have like done a smaller booty or just done like some sort of a cool looking pump, then maybe it would have made her leg look a bit longer. But other than that, that's the only thing I can think of to criticize for, because other than that, it just was fantastic. So I definitely gave Eureka a high runway. Next is Aquaria. This, by far, well, I mean, I'll get to one of my other favorites here in a second. This was definitely my top two, tied for first place. This was so ingenious. I don't know how she got that hat to stay on that bunny ear, but this was high fashion. This was adorable. I loved this look. The makeup was on point. I like the fact that, kind of like how Violet Chachki was in her season at times, she's not afraid to show boy body. She's not afraid to show what she has. She does have a fantastic body. Oh my god, I don't know what else I could say about this. This was fantastic. High runway for me. Next up is Monique Hart. The thing is, I can see where she was going, but the first things first. The headpiece, or it's not even a headpiece, it's just more of a fascinator. The fascinator did not match the dress. It was just, I don't know, it wasn't good. I love the fabric of the dress, or the top and skirt. I really don't even know what it is. The problem is it just looks a little crafty. And I hate saying that because I understood that she made this like super last minute. It's just, it wasn't giving me what I wanted. So I will give this middle of the road because there are parts I like. There are parts that I like, but other than that, it's just kind of meh. I wish she had more time to have done more with this look. Next is Asia O'Hara. This is the look that ties Aquaria for me. It's so hard for me to choose between which one of the two that I like the best of this week. That headpiece and I watched some other things talking about this look, and they say this is an IKEA lamp. That to me is even more ingenious, because how in the hell do you come up with the idea to put a literal lamp on your head and make it fashion? It's so good. It's so good. The fact that those flowers, they kind of bounced as she walked, I just cannot get over how beautiful her face, her hair, the hat, how it all worked. The only thing that I could criticize about this look is the fact that her dress did bunch up in the back. It's a very tiny detail, I know, but you know what? I'm willing to forgive the bunchy dress, because this is a wow moment. This will go down in Drag Race history as one of the best looks to go out on the runway. It is phenomenal, so definitely high runway for me. Next up is Ms. Kraka, and this was actually really cute. I did love this. It's kind of hard going right after Asia with that giant masterpiece of a hat, but I like what she did with this. I love the fact that the hat's made all out of hair. The dress is snatched on her body. Her makeup is good. I loved how she was playing with the hairspray. Everything was working for me with this look, so high runway for me from Ms. Cracker. Next is Blair St. Clair. This one, okay, again, it's cute on her. I like the look a lot. I really do. I love the short, like tulle skirt. I like the hat. It's a lot wider, which I think adds to the look a lot more. So that's why, compared to other girls, I'm not gonna criticize this hat that much because it does work with the look. It is it's a big hat, so I forgive it for that. So I did give this a high runway for Blair. It's not as wow-worthy, but I will give it a high because it does work for me in the sort of concept. And I know people may argue that I'm giving this to Blair and not to Monique. I don't know. It's like kind of, I don't know. I felt Blair's look a lot more than I felt Monet's. And finally, we have our favorite Vixen. And this, I'm sorry, this was the only boot I gave this week. This was sloppy. The hats were just everywhere. I understand what she was going for, but either you go with a wide skirt or you try to make a bodysuit, which, by the way, you've done before. You've done it in the first episode, and that didn't even look that cute. It's just, it looked too messy. The bra was in a weird place on the body. The hat she was actually wearing on her head, it was covering her face half the time. It was hard for me to even get a good picture of her face because the fact she kept putting, like, the brim down. She was, like, going like this. And it was blocking her face. And it was just, no, you don't do that. I give her credit for making a dress out of hats, but I'm not gonna forgive sloppy craftsmanship here. So this was the only boot that I gave for the night. It was just not good. So our top team was obviously Team Body, which was Cameron, Monet, and Eureka. Our safe team was Team Face or Makeup, which was, I'm already losing track, I'm sorry, which was Monique, Asia, and Aquaria. And then our bottoms were Team Wig, Cracker, Vixen, and Blair. So basically how it went in the challenge is how it went in the deliberation. It was very much, Team Body was overall the best panel, and then Team Wig was just not, they weren't organized, they weren't being a panel, they were just being shady. They didn't give a lot of information about how to put on a wig or to do anything with wigs, which was the whole point. So that was devastating, but the point I think we need to talk about the most is what happened with Blair, because I knew, we all, if any of us are Drag Race super fans, we know that Blair has had issues with alcohol. She is sober, and which was fantastic for her. But I did always wonder, how are you an alcoholic so young, unless something really bad happened to you? And from what she said, she came from she had her rough moments growing up and coming out as gay, but she has a very supportive family behind her. So I'm thinking, what could have happened? Well, we learned that tonight. We learned that Blair, while in college, was basically raped at a party, and that was her first sexual experience. And I couldn't imagine what that would feel like. Being that I am a college student, and college rapes, I've never experienced it personally, nor have any of my friends dealt with it, but it's something that has happened. I've seen reports of it at my own college campus at times. It is something that happens. So to think that this happened to her so young, it's just, it truly just broke my heart. And the fact that she was saying, the reason I do this like very cutesy, very feminine type of a thing, because it gives me a chance to look on those sides of life and not look on the darkness that was this experience. And I mean, that just opened up so many doors into who Blair is as a drag queen and even as a human being. It was just so devastating to see this come out of her. And really all I wanted to do was just go up there and give her a giant hug, because I couldn't believe that she's only 22. You gotta remember this. She's only 22. And the fact she's been through so much in her young life, it's amazing how strong she really is to not overcome, but to at least, be happy with her life and to have friends, have family. I think everyone who's dealt with a very harsh incident in their life can look at Blair and be, I can be okay. I may have been through something terrible and hard, but I can move on and live my life and be happy with my life. So Blair was just amazing, was just truly amazing this episode. So anyway, before it gets too emotional, because that was very emotional, we had our winner, which was Eureka, and then our bottom two were sadly, it was Blair and Vixen. So let's go ahead and watch the lip sync between Blair and Vixen.
Ooh. Come on, Blair. Kick Vixen's ass, please. She's missing a couple words on her lip sync. Oh. I'm sorry, guys. I'm being very, very quiet this lip sync. Did you just break her freaking shoe? Oh, it's just hanging by its ankle strap. Oh, I hate to say it. I think Vixen had that, but Blair should stay.
I've made my decision. The Vixen. Shantae, you stay. Thank you for believing in me.
No! Lost my freaking hat. Okay.
Blair St. Clair, I do declare. Consider this your coming out party. And I want the world to know this is a declaration of independence from the past. Now, sachet.
This is the closest I've come to crying.
Bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
So, yep, yeah, I'm not thrilled, guys, not thrilled. But the fact being that Vixen did survive the lip sync and Blair went home. I hated the fact that Blair went home because we just learned all of this baggage from her. And I wanted to see more of her. I loved Blair so much. I didn't think I would, because I think even in my first review of the season, I even said, oh, she's kind of rubbed me the wrong way with all the Broadway thing. But I grew to love her so much. She was so amazing this season, and I cannot wait to see more of her. I already know that she's got a song out, and I've been hearing so many good things about it. I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm so excited to see Blair's future blossom because she is so young, so I'm very excited about that. But sadly, Vixen's still in the competition, and I will freely admit, she did do well in the lip sync. And I could tell from about halfway through that Vixen was probably going to take this. But it still sucks that that's how it kind of had to be. So, I gotta suck it up. And we're gonna have to move on to preview for next episode, which is Snatch Game! Snatch Game is coming up next week, and we have a special guest with Miss Bianca Del Rio, Miss Judge Judy impersonator herself, coming in to give some of the girls advice, doing a walkthrough with Ru. I'm so excited for Snatch Game. I cannot wait to see what these girls pull out, who is going to succeed, who is going to fail, who are some of the choices. I cannot wait to see what this season's Snatch Game is going to bring. So on that note, I'm gonna end the video right here. So if you guys like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of this week's episode? And if you wanna see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah.